Scorpio, what's going on with you? Come on in, have a seat, make yourself comfortable. My name's Alan Hill from UnknownTruthTarot.com. Welcome back to another Scorpio love reading. Today we're going to take a look at the status of the love connection between you and your romantic person of interest here at the end of October 2025. So let's get started and let's get one card for what's the mutual point of interest between Scorpio and their romantic person of interest here at the end of October 2025. All right, let's see. What is going on with you, Scorpio? What's going on with Scorpio as it relates to their romantic person of interest and the connection between them? Okay, you're going to make it easy for me today, it looks like. What do we have here? What's going on with your person, Scorpio? What's going on with Scorpio's romantic person of interest here at the end of October 2025 as it relates to Scorpio and the connection between the two of them? Okay, what do we got going on? All right, the overall energy of this reading, Seven of Swords. This is Aquarius energy. This is usually lying, cheating, stealing, deception, sneaking around behind someone's back, trying to get away with something that they shouldn't be trying to get away with. Now, that's not the only meaning of the card. Sometimes this card can reference self-preservation, as in not wanting to be hurt, which is why the guy on the card is stealing these swords. He doesn't want those swords used against him, so he steals them to make sure that he can't be hurt. It can also reference leaving something behind because he can only carry 5 of the swords and he has to leave these other 2 behind. So it could have any of those meanings. Right behind that Seven of Swords, we have the Queen of Swords. This is Libra energy. I call her she who knows the truth. She is about facing the truth, speaking the truth, and then cutting off a thing or a person that is no longer in the best interest anymore. So we have some element of seeing the truth about some probably sneaky, deceptive behavior. Yeah, and right after that Queen of Swords, we have the Five of Pentacles. This is Taurus energy of abandonment. This is about being cast aside, being left out in the cold, discarded, walked away from. This is a breakup kind of an energy here. So, overall, this is not looking so hot already, but that is the gist of what it looks like this one's going to talk to me about. We'll come back to that as we need to, as we move through the reading. This mutual point of interest is shared energy that affects both of you in some way here at the end of October 2025. That shared energy is the Emperor. This is the Aries Major Arcana card. This is a card of control. It's about taking control, taking charge of a situation. The Emperor is a master manifester in the sense of it's someone who has all the tools, abilities, and resources to put together a plan to get what they want and then execute the plan to get what they want. This is the person that's running the show, making the rules, setting the boundaries. They're calling the shots here. So that's the shared energy affecting you both. Like I said, it doesn't always affect you the same way. Sometimes they do this and you feel the consequences, even vice versa. This could be about you taking control because of something that you saw and bringing the sword of truth down and maybe having a breakup because of that. It could be the other way around. So I'm going to clarify this and see what we have going on. Tell me more about the Emperor. Why is that the shared energy affecting Scorpio and their person of interest here at the end of October? Okay, I needed one more and they gave me 2 or 3 more here. What do we have? Come this way. All right. Yeah, you're seeing me turn cards right side up. I don't read reversals. To me, there's not really any reason to read reversals, especially considering that I always consider the positive and the negative meanings of each card. And it really, to me, the context isn't so much about whether the card's upside down, it's what other cards are around it. So that's why you saw me flipping them right side up. Underlying this Emperor energy, we have the Seven of Cups. This is Scorpio energy. This is options and choices and confusion about the options and choices. There's a lot of cups here. There's a lot of different stuff in these cups that can represent. There's a lot of different ways this could play itself out. It can represent that there's a lot of emotions involved and I don't want to pick the wrong cup and make some kind of a mistake. This is also kind of an illusionary kind of an energy where maybe I'm not even able to tell which of these options in front of me are actually real. The clouds of smoke here can represent emotions clouding judgment. It can represent something clouding everything up so I can't see it very clearly. It can represent just like clouded judgment, clouded decision making. Right behind that Seven of Cups, I have the Four of Swords. This is Libra energy. This is about taking a pause, taking a rest, taking a break. It's a card of healing, but it's really about like choosing to calm my mind down. Fours are stability and swords are about the thoughts. So this would be like stabilizing my thoughts, calming my mind down, choosing to go inside myself to heal something, or choosing to go inside myself to do some kind of thinking here to try to figure something out here. Probably because I have some confusion going on. Notice we're going from a cup where the emotions can start to cloud things up, and this is like, shh, calm down. I get this card a lot for somebody when they're overthinking. They're doing too much thinking. There's too much mental chatter inside their mind, and this is like instructions to calm down because you're just thinking too much. You can't hear your own internal guidance when this card comes out. It's telling you to calm down for that reason. Right behind that Four of Swords, this pause, this break, I get Justice, which is the Libra Major Arcana card. I feel like I've said Libra a couple of times here. I got that Queen of Swords. I've got a little bit of Taurus there. I've got some Aquarius, some Aries, some Scorpio, a couple Libra cards. Now, you could be dealing with any of those signs, but this is a collective reading, so you could be dealing with any sign. It's going to be almost impossible for me to pin down exactly who you're dealing with in a collective reading because I'm not tapping into your specific energy as an individual person the same way I would if I was doing a personal reading for you and it's just you and me one-on-one. Here I'm tapping into collective energy. So I'm just going to continue to call these signs out as they stick out to me just in case they mean anything to you. But we got quite a bit of Libra here. Yeah, remember when I said that I get this card a lot when it's like instructions to calm the mind down and stop thinking so much? Right behind that Justice card, I get this Eight of Swords, which is Gemini energy. This is thinking about something over and over and over again on a repeating loop in the mind, like grinding on something. The person's blindfolded, which usually represents I don't have all the data. There's pieces of information that I'm missing, and I don't want to step in the wrong spot and make some kind of a mistake. And I'm feeling stuck and trapped and blocked because I don't really know everything and I don't really know what to do here. So this can be sometimes like a self-imposed mental prison of your own thoughts, or this is shared energy. So this could be your person stuck in this grinding loop, but it seems like what they're stuck on is this Justice here, whether that's your person or you. But I don't even think I actually told you what Justice means. This is the most powerful card of balance in the deck. It's about doing the right, fair, just thing. This card has a sword in it, and that sword is used to cut away something that's not in balance, so balance can be restored, and then the right, fair, just thing can happen. I get this card. It shows up to point out the fact that something unfair or unjust is going on, something unbalanced is going on, and this kind of points out the need to correct it. It makes sense if the overall energy is the Seven of Swords, this lying, cheating, stealing, deceptive behavior. It even makes sense if someone is in this Emperor energy and they're kind of dominating the connection. When I clarify the Emperor, I get the Eight of Wands, Six of Wands, Six of Cups, Four of Pentacles, and the Sun. Normally I get 3 clarifiers. I got 5 here. This Eight of Wands is Sagittarius energy. This is the second fastest moving energy in the deck. This can be rapid back and forth passionate communications happening. This can be rapid forward movement or progress on something that there's a lot of passion and desire for. Sometimes this can indicate travel. A lot of times this is just so much is happening really fast. It's almost like too much to process all at once. So it can be like a really overwhelming energy. Then I get the Six of Wands, which is Leo energy. And this is an energy of recognition. So sometimes that could be one of you getting recognized for something, like getting the spotlight shined on you, getting patted on the back. And more often than not, this is a card of someone coming to some kind of a recognition, as in like, aha, now I see what's going on, which makes sense. Having the sun out here, that can represent illumination. Whatever gets recognized here, forward movement happens after that. So I have 2 cards of forward movement, one of them incredibly fast. Central to these clarifiers for the Emperor is the Six of Cups. This is Scorpio energy of the past. It's thinking about the past, reminiscing, thinking about the good old days, the way things used to be between the two of you. This can represent a deep emotional connection between the two of you. It can represent history between the two of you. It can also represent something from the past coming back up again, happening again, or even someone from the past coming back or attempting to come back. Next, I have the Four of Pentacles, Capricorn energy. This is holding on tightly to something and not wanting to let go of it. So I do have this element here of holding on to the past and maybe the way things used to be and maybe not wanting to let go of that. I'm not sure yet who that applies to or how it's affecting you specifically. I have the Sun as the final clarifier. This is Leo Major Arcana energy. This is the happiest card in the deck. It's happiness, joy, bliss, harmony. Really hard to get a better card than that in a relationship reading. I have this idea here of holding on tightly to the thing that makes me happy. Now, this could indicate that there's happiness in this connection, and I don't want to let go of that. I don't want to lose that. The thing about the Sun is, in addition to happiness, this is also the card that comes immediately after the moon in the sequence of the major arcana. And when the moon's out, it's dark outside, you can't see everything. And sometimes it can represent something as being hidden in the dark. There's a secret being kept. And the next step would be the sun comes up and it's not dark anymore. So whatever was hiding in the dark gets illuminated. It gets exposed and I can see it. Which makes sense, like I said, if we got lying and cheating and stealing and deception as the overall energy, and the Queen of Swords, she who knows the truth, and like facing the truth, speaking the truth, severing something or someone that's not in your benefit anymore, and then this breakup energy. This is looking like I recognized what was going on. It's probably come out of left field, and it's like really a lot to process and overwhelming. It's probably kicking up some ideas of like reminiscing here and this idea of holding on to the past and holding on to happiness, but there's a lot of confusion underlying this. That's the shared energy that's affecting both of you here at the end of October 2025, Scorpio. I will freely admit to you it is not uncommon whatsoever that I don't fully understand exactly what this is telling me yet. I will come back to this shared energy as I go through your energy, because then I'll be able to see how it applies to you. But I will come back to it again when I go through your person's energy, because then I can see how it applies to them. Your energy in this connection at the end of October 2025, Scorpio. First card is always the most important. You get the Two of Cups. Central to your energy is strength. And your final card is the Ten of Pentacles. The Two of Cups is Cancer energy. This is an emotional connection between two people. A relationship, love type of a connection. It's also a two, and in tarot, twos represent choices or decisions. So this is a choice about this connection. It can also represent a choice between two different people here. So let's clarify that. Well, tell me more about this Two of Cups. Why is that the first card of Scorpio's energy? That's very interesting. Notice how one card came out. All the rest of them flipped upright and stayed in the deck, and now I have to go dig those out. Okay, I guess that's the order. Make sure nothing else flipped in there. There was a lot there. Okay. Underline this Two of Cups energy. Page of Cups. This is news and messages and communications about love and emotions, expressing feelings. Sometimes this is the early stages of a new love connection where we're at the stage of just talking about it right now, expressing feelings. It can be flirty behavior. It's also a page, and the page is the lowest form of the court card. It's not fully developed energy. So in terms of a person, this could represent someone who's not fully emotionally mature, not fully emotionally developed. It can sometimes represent an apology, which I don't really, I guess with lying and deception, that would warrant an apology. But there's also a fish in the cup here, and that can sometimes represent like a sleight of hand type of an energy. In other words, don't look me in the eyes, because then you'll be able to figure me out. Look over here and get distracted by this other thing. And I don't think that worked out very well, because right behind that page of cups, I have the Queen of Swords again. I'm using 2 decks, and now I've seen the Queen of Swords in the underlying energy in both of them now. Libra energy, she who knows the truth. She's got her head above the clouds. We saw that 7 of Cups where there's all the clouds around all the different options here, and like the clouds representing the emotions. Here, her head is above the clouds. The emotions aren't really preventing her from seeing the truth or facing it or using the sword, which, like I said, is used to cut off something or someone that isn't in her best interest anymore. When I clarify this 2 of Cups, I get the Knight of Cups, Death, the Hanged Man, and the Ace of Cups. So I have quite a bit of water here. Quite a bit of emotions. This Knight of Cups. Knights are action takers. It's a step beyond the page, which is about talking about something emotional. This is the stage of taking actions on it, like actions toward love and emotions, moving forward with romantic offers, romantic gestures, trying to advance this cup of love, trying to advance romantically. And I don't know if that is a choice between connections, or if we have like 2 different connections going on here, or if this is your choice that what you want to do in this connection is move forward romantically. I'll be honest with you, even though I'm on your side of the table and this first card is the most important one in your energy, many times that first card in the whole column of clarifiers usually ends up being something from this person showing up in your energy, because whatever they've done is affecting you so strongly. But we've got actions toward love and emotions. The next clarifier is Death, the Scorpio Major Arcana card. This is an ending to something. This is something dying. And after that ending, there is a painful transition period that follows, or a painful transformation period that takes place. Linked directly to this idea of forward movement. So this is either the forward movement romantically in this connection has died, or someone advancing romantically in potentially another connection where they're sneaking around and being deceptive could be what killed this between the 2 of you. It looks dead. It looks like it's not moving, because the next clarifier is the Hanged Man. This is progress being halted. No forward movement is happening. Things are stuck. It's at a dead stop. Now, the Hanged Man is hanging upside down because he's trying to look at things from a different perspective than he normally would, a different point of view than he would normally look at things from. And he's trying to figure out, what has me stuck? How do I get unstuck so I can move forward the way I want to? I usually contrast this energy against the Hermit, because at their core, they're both about, trying to move forward. What do I do moving forward from here? The key difference is where the focus is placed. In the Hermit, he's looking inside of himself. He's trying to look down inside of himself for what adjustments do I need to make to me so I can move forward the way I want to. And with the Hanged Man, he's looking at things. And things are external to us. So this is looking at things for what out here has me stuck. What out here is the problem. And if the problem is outside of me, the solution must be outside of me. Now, one thing this could be telling me is that the problem in this connection is external to you. It's your person. It's something else outside of you. Could be what it's telling me. Could be that it's telling me that's something outside of you is what has it stuck, what killed it. The other thing it could be saying is that there might be some element of this that isn't external to you. In other words, like needing to look inside myself for the solution to this. And it's the solution not being outside of you. Final card that I have is the Ace of Cups. This is a new beginning in love and emotions. Most of the time, this represents a new person showing up, where there's a new beginning in romance that way. I do have this Page of Cups here, the early stages of some love connection where we're talking about it. I'm clarifying the Two of Cups. Could easily be another connection is here, and this external thing that has it stuck might be a new person showing up. It also might be, well, hey, your person stepping into the role of the emperor, where they're trying to take control of everything, where they're running the show. Doesn't look like it actually worked out that way, because I got the Queen of Swords there and I've got the Queen of Swords here, and like Scorpio is the most intuitive sign. And like I tell people all the time, if you're going to fuck with somebody, do not fuck with the Scorpio, because you are not going to be able to slide your bullshit past them for very long before they just like they figure you out. Even if they don't have the facts, they're going to feel what's going on. Central to your energy is the Strength card. This is Leo Major Arcana energy. This card usually indicates that you're going through some very difficult situation right now. It's taking all of your internal strength to make it through that. You have the strength to make it through it. You're just probably being forced to dig down inside yourself and find it and put it to use. Another thing it can represent is someone trying to tame this beast inside themselves. In other words, trying to rein myself in, trying to hold myself back so I don't make some kind of a mistake that I regret later. It's like trying to contain a piece of myself. Tell me more about strength. Why is that the central energy for Scorpio at end of October? Okay, not letting me finish my sentence and giving me all kinds of extra cards here. No worries. Let's see. Well, come here. Underlying this strength energy, 9 of Pentacles. This is Virgo energy. This is a singles energy. It's a step backwards from the 10 of Pentacles. And the 10 of Pentacles is the next card in your energy that I will clarify here in just a minute. I guess I kind of need to tell you what the 10 of Pentacles means. It's usually maximum stability and abundance and prosperity. It can also represent the combining together of two people or two families, all their assets and resources to build a life together. So it can represent building a life together, building a life around each other. I get that card a lot for people with if they're married or engaged or living together or have been serious enough that they started combining their lives together and blending together. But this is a step backwards from that. This is about being physically single, physically independent. Sometimes I'll get this card not for someone who is single, but for someone who's presenting themselves as single in the physical world when maybe they're not, which is kind of how you get into the lying and deception. It would be how you would get into a spot where there's this choice between two different cups here. And we got a new cup being brought in. So it could be someone acting single when they're not. It could be that you're just going through a really hard time right now because whatever has happened, you found out the truth of it and there was a severing and a breakup that took place. And this could just be now you're in this physically single type of an energy. I got 7 of Cups behind it again. Scorpio energy, options, choices, confusion, a lot of emotions involved. Emotions may be clouding decision making. That might be what it's talking about with this 6 of Cups in the middle of the shared energy, where it's right beside this 4 of Pentacles holding on tightly to something. Could be that you're single now, but you have all these emotions popping up that are maybe clouding your judgment. Maybe you're struggling with that as well. When I clarify strength, I get the 4 of Cups, 7 of Pentacles, 2 of Swords, 10 of Pentacles again, and the 6 of Pentacles. So we got quite a bit of Pentacles there. This 4 of Cups is Cancer energy. This is about not being fully emotionally happy or content with what you have in front of you. The person is looking at these 3 cups and they're not fully happy with the 3 cups. So much so that they're daydreaming about this other cup, this other thing that if I had that, I might be happy. I might be content and fulfilled then. Now these 3 cups can represent being together, and I'm not necessarily happy with being together, and I got this other thing on my mind that I think might make me happy. It's sitting directly beside this Knight of Cups, this actions toward love and emotions. It could also represent the 3 cups can be a third party situation, which is why 3 cups of love are in the picture. And sometimes that cup hanging in the air is that other person that got brought in. And I'm not happy that there's 3 cups when there should only be 2. And I can't get that other person out of my head. This strength card could even be you trying to contain that piece of yourself, because not being happy about that, well, I'll be honest, it would piss me off. So I got a lot of Scorpio in my chart. I'm Scorpio rising in my 1st house, Scorpio North Node in my 1st house. I've got Scorpio in my 12th house, Scorpio Uranus in my 12th house. So I can totally relate to the Scorpio energy here, and that would probably tick me off quite a bit. Next, I have the Seven of Pentacles. This is Taurus energy. This is a period of time for one of two reasons. First, it can be a period of time where you're pausing to reflect and take stock of this connection, take stock of this whole situation that you're finding yourself in. And it would be about taking a look at this and trying to decide, is this ever going to turn into the Ten of Pentacles that I really want? I've got it here as your next card. The Ten of Pentacles is in this column of clarifiers here. Is this ever going to turn into what I really want? Should I continue investing my time, effort, and energy into this? Or is this a spot where maybe it's not going to pan out the way I want it to, and maybe it's time for me to just cut my losses and move on? So it can represent a period of time where that kind of thinking is happening, contemplating that stuff. It can also represent a period of time where the seeds were already planted on something. And if you plant like an apple seed right now, you will not wake up tomorrow with apples. There's a big lag time from when you plant the seed on something until it fully grows and develops and blossoms and you can harvest it and get something out of it. So this could represent there's been a big period of time where you haven't been fully happy with this connection. Could also represent there's been a big period of time where someone was acting single when they weren't and had options and choices. And it could be a period of time where someone's been engaging in romantic forward movement in another connection, maybe sneaking around behind your back. It could be any of those things, but it is sitting directly beside death, which is an ending to something. So it could also be that this ending has been brewing for a long time. Now, when I go back to this shared energy, the very first clarifier is that Eight of Wands, that really fast forward movement. This usually feels like something that comes out of left field and catches you off guard, and I wasn't expecting it. And it seems like yesterday everything was fine, and now suddenly today it's not fine anymore. But based on seeing death right beside that Seven of Pentacles, it looks like this has been simmering in the background for a while, and maybe it all just came out all at once. Next clarifier I have for strength is the Two of Swords, Libra energy. This is a decision that needs to be made, only it hasn't been made yet for some reason. The lady on the card is blindfolded, and that blindfold can represent I just don't have enough information available to me in order to make this decision. Sometimes that blindfold means, from my perspective, it's not even my choice anymore. It's this other person who's in control, the person running the show. They're the one doing all this. It's really their choice, and they haven't made the choice yet. If that's the case, like, I need to remind you that you do always have a choice. You're not at the mercy of the other person and waiting on them to make up their mind or whatever. You can just choose that, you know what, I'm not happy with this. This isn't quite good enough for me. And I think I'm going to cut my losses and move on. Now, the other thing that blindfold can represent is someone having blinders on. In other words, there could be a piece of this that you didn't want to see. You didn't want to look at it. You didn't want that to be true. And kind of being in denial about it, refusing to look at it for a period of time, even though you weren't happy, could have prevented you from making a decision. It's sitting right beside the Hanged Man. Could be that maybe the decision is outside of me. It's this other person's choice, not mine. And it could just be that this thing has been stuck for a minute. And even though it's been stuck, I still didn't make the choice to cut my losses and move on. Next, I have the Ten of Pentacles, which, like I said, is Virgo energy, combining together of lives, building a life together. There's some decision that needed to be made about that maybe you didn't want to make, or maybe you were waiting on them to make. But also during this period of time where there's this combined together life, we have a new cup being brought in, a new person being brought in. Final clarifier for strength is the Six of Pentacles, Taurus energy. This is supposed to be balance. It's supposed to be generosity and reciprocity. Like, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. We take care of each other. It's like equal give and take. Doesn't feel like that, especially with Seven of Swords as the overall energy, and the Emperor, the one person in control of the shared energy here. The other meaning to the Six of Pentacles is, you see here we have the Merchant giving to two different people in the physical sense. And notice one of them is behind his back. So this can be someone giving to you and giving to someone else behind their back and kind of hiding it. Final card in your energy, Scorpio, 10 of Pentacles. We've already gone over that. Maximum stability and abundance. It's Virgo energy. Combined together lives. Tell me about this 10 of Pentacles. Why is that the final card? Scorpio's energy. Okay. We're taking extra ones every which way we can. And I'm fine with that one. Underlying this 10 of Pentacles, Queen of Swords, Libra energy, she who knows the truth, facing the truth about this combined together life, speaking the truth about something, and then cutting off a thing or a person that isn't in your best interest anymore. Okay. Looks like what we're cutting apart here is the Lovers. This is Gemini's major arcana. This is a card like a long time ago, before it was called the Lovers. It used to be called the Choice. I see right here towards the center of your energy, a choice that needs made that wasn't made. Your very first card is a choice about either this connection or between two different people. I have another really powerful decision card out here. This represents the interconnectedness between people. When you have combined your life together with someone, their decisions are going to have an impact on you, and vice versa. Your decisions are going to have an impact on them. This can also represent a choice about this connection, just like the Two of Cups can, or even a choice between lovers. And it's looking like seeing the truth about something and severing probably this connection. Yeah, I got 10 of Wands right behind that. Sagittarius energy of a heavy burden being carried. This is something weighing you down and holding you back. That's tied directly to this connection and the choices being made in the connection, and the effect that their choices are having on you is placing a heavy burden on you, especially if you've combined lives together. Now, when I clarify that 10 of Pentacles, I get 2 of Wands, Wheel of Fortune, Knight of Wands, 7 of Wands, and Judgment. The 2 of Wands is Aries energy. Another choice card. 2s are always choices. This is a fork in the road. It's a crossroads in your life. It's a crossroads in this connection. It's a decision point, and it's a decision about what do you want your world to be like? What do you want your life to be like? And which of these two paths is going to get you to that? Now, it's more than just which path am I going to go down, because you can't turn left and right at the same time. So it's the choice of what path am I going to go down, but also which path am I going to leave behind in order to get the life that I want. Because it's tied to this 4 of Cups. Like right now, you're not fully happy and content with what you have. There's this idea of moving forward romantically, but it's also potentially your person's choice. Notice it is a wand, passion, desire type of a choice, and we have this romantic forward movement happening. This is looking like a complicated situation here. Next, I have the Wheel of Fortune. In terms of zodiac signs, this is the 4 fixed signs: Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, and Scorpio. This represents a change in luck and fortune. So if things were going great, this would be the pivotal moment where the wheel spun the other way and it wrapped around the telephone pole, went to hell in a handbasket, whatever metaphor you want to use. If things are going bad and this card shows up, it can indicate someone who is like trying to turn the wheel the other way and correct course and put us back on track. Looking like, because we have this combined together life, that was probably your first choice. It's like, let's correct this. But then we also have that period of time going by where probably wasn't going that way. The other thing the Wheel of Fortune can mean is a repeating cycle of something happening. Maybe a repeating cycle of just like waiting to see, is this going to pan out? But then also in that same row is death, an ending with some painful transition period or transformation period following that. Next, we have the Knight of Wands. This is a very fast-moving energy. This is someone who rushes forward and takes this rapid, passionate action on something they have a lot of passion and desire for. This can be that person who comes rushing in all passionately and tells you everything you want to hear in order to get what they want. And then sometimes they'll run out a whole different direction and go run that same game on somebody else. A lot of times you'll hear a lot of people refer to this card as the player of the tarot deck. It can be that person who's playing two different people. I got a choice between two different cups here, romantic actions that killed things that got it hung up, a new cup showing up, overall energy, lying, cheating, stealing, deception. Can definitely be that. This can also represent someone who is non-committal in the sense of they can't stay fully committed to what they say they want. At the beginning, they start out really gung-ho wanting something, and then suddenly they'll change their mind and go a different direction. Like this thing will pivot on a dime and go a whole different direction. Now, these two cards together, Wheel of Fortune and Knight of Wands, can represent a repeating cycle of someone being really wishy-washy and in and out and back and forth, and potentially being a player, having choice between these two different passion, desire ends of things during a time when you have combined your lives together. Could be what's going on. It's that Knight of Wands is sitting right beside a person who has a choice to make, but doesn't make it for some reason. So that could definitely mean I got two people, you and somebody else, and I'm not choosing because, well, I'm gonna maintain control here and maybe force you to make that difficult decision about this connection. I'm not gonna make it. I'm gonna make you do it. And there's probably been a period of time where that decision wasn't being made. That decision is also sitting right beside this hanged man. Like an external thing is in the way here. Next clarifier for Ten of Pentacles is the Seven of Wands, Leo energy. This is defensive energy. This is defending my position, defending my stance, being willing to fight to protect something that's important to me, something that I want, something that I believe in, maybe even being willing to fight for this connection. You know, it's sitting right beside that Ten of Pentacles here, like being willing to fight to protect this combined together life, even though there's probably a repeating cycle of player activity here. And this new cup. So that new cup is in the same row with the combined together life and this defensive posture, defensive energy here. So this could be you wanting to fight off the other person. That could also be what's going on with this hanged man, as in like placing the blame on the external person, this new person that shows up, when really the person that's doing the lying and sneaking around with them probably has an equal amount of blame. It's like they're not doing that like at random. It's like they're in the emperor energy here probably. So it's not that they didn't have a choice in the matter. No one put a gun to their head and forced them to go along with that. So I'm just wondering if that's like, hey, like make sure you're defensive against the right thing here. Either way, the final clarifier for this Ten of Pentacles is Judgment. This is the most powerful decision card in the deck. It's about making a final decision, passing a final verdict in judgment. In a relationship reading, this card means one of two things. Either A, I'm calling this thing dead and over with, and there is no coming back from it. The other thing it could mean is resurrection, as in I want to resurrect this and bring it back to life, bring it back from the grave. It is sitting right beside a card, Six of Pentacles, of balance, equal give and take. That's really about making sure that the investment that you're making is actually being returned to you. This is a case where you put something in and you get something equal value out of it. It's not a case where you're putting something in, they're taking it, you're putting more in, they're taking it. It's not a one-sided thing. And sitting next to Judgment would tell you that if it is not balanced, if there is no reciprocity here, if there's no equal give and take here, it's time to call it dead and over with. Especially since I've seen death more than once. I've got it out here in the first column of cards where it's stuck, there's this romantic forward movement, and there's death. So this is looking to me like you defending against them telling you what you want to hear. Defending against that and probably passing a final verdict in judgment to call this connection dead. Scoot this over and get some more room. That's your energy here in this connection at the end of October 2025, Scorpio. Let's take a look at your person's energy. Their very first card is the most important, Seven of Wands. Central to their energy, Eight of Pentacles. And their final card is the Four of Pentacles. We just got done talking about this Seven of Wands over here on your side. Leo energy, defensive energy, defending their position, their stance, fighting for something that they want, something that is important to them. This can represent defensiveness. I have seen the Queen of Swords more than once. It's in the shared energy here. It's still at the bottom of the deck staring at me from the underlying energy for this Ten of Pentacles. This could be the difficult conversation. Like, you see how she holds her hand out? She's speaking the truth to someone, but she's fair. She's offering them the chance to tell me your side of the story. Speak your truth. The problem is her head's above the clouds at this point. She's not clouded up anymore. She knows the truth. And if the truth you speak to her doesn't match the truth she already knows, well, it's off with your head. So when I get these two cards together, a lot of times that's where having this very difficult conversation where truth is getting spoken and the other person is going, nuh-uh, I didn't do that. It's not me. Being defensive about it. Tell me more about this Seven of Wands, please. Now, that could also be your person right now wanting to fight for this connection. Come here. Dropping them everywhere. Where did you go? I know there was another one. There it is. That could be them, like, if I'm reading just the surface here, wanting to fight for the connection. Eight of Pentacles would be wanting to put the work in on it. The Four of Pentacles would be holding on tightly and not wanting to let go. But there's a reason why I clarify everything. It's because sometimes what it appears to be on the surface isn't actually what it really is when you look beneath the surface here. I do have like a lot of fast-moving passion, desire, energy, and some recognition about forward movement. Potentially a history of them doing that. This could be something that they've done in the past happening again. Could even be a person from their past showing back up that they have all this passion, desire, and forward movement with. There is that Four of Pentacles here. There is some element of happiness that this person also doesn't want to let go of. But that's a very peculiar way to go about it, by taking on that Emperor. I'm running the show. I'm making the decisions. I'm the one that's in control. That's a little bit weird feeling. When I clarify Seven of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, the Devil, Five of Wands, and the High Priestess. Queen of Pentacles is Capricorn energy. A lot of times this is wife type of an energy. It doesn't necessarily mean legally married wife. Doesn't necessarily mean they're married to you. The King and the Queen of Pentacles represent wife, husband, and they build the Ten of Pentacles together, which I have out here in both decks on your side of the table. So there is the potential that there's, if not married, but maybe living together, maybe committed, boyfriend and girlfriend that have started combining lives together or something along that lines. And this person could be wanting to fight for you. However, because we got lying and deception happening, I got two different cups, a new cup being brought in, a choice that hasn't been made, somebody who's probably running back and forth between you and someone else. What is in the center of this clarifiers for the shared energy is history, connection from the past, person from the past that maybe they don't want to let go of. This person, for all I know, could be married already, and maybe you're the new cup that got brought in. And maybe that as you started moving forward, they started telling you, okay, I'm going to end the other connection, but that hasn't actually happened yet. There's the decision not getting made. And maybe it's been a period of time they've been saying that, and maybe you started getting tired of that routine, tired of waiting on it to happen. Either way, the next card is the Devil. Capricorn's major arcana card. This is heavy toxic energy. It can be an obsession with something. It could be an addiction to something. It could be them having this feeling of being trapped by something, feeling like I can't escape from it. There are two energies of control in the tarot deck, the Emperor and the Devil. I've got both of them here. both of them affecting your person. This would mean that they're not in control of something. At least they're giving their control away. These are the same two people from the Lovers card, but they have chains around their neck and they can't leave. They have horns and tails at this point because they've been in this distorted energy for so long that it's starting to distort them. It's starting to change elements of who they are. Now, the important thing to notice about the chains around their neck is they're just big loops, like a necklace where you could like take it off and walk away anytime they want to. They just don't think they can. So part of this is like being in denial about it. And this kind of an energy only has the power over a person that they willingly give to it by refusing to face it and refusing to leave from it. But we have this toxic attachment to wife type of an energy here. Now, that could be a toxic attachment to the person that they're married with. Maybe they're in a toxic relationship, but for some reason they still want to fight for it. There's history here that they don't want to let go of. There's some element of happiness that they get from it, even though it's not healthy, and they don't want to let go of that either. I don't know if this person is married to you or to another person, so take that piece of this however it applies to you. But the next card is the Five of Wands. This is more Leo energy. Fives are conflict. This is a conflict in desires. In other words, an internal conflict that they're having, where a piece of them wants this thing and another piece of them wants pretty much the opposite of that. And now they have multiple different parts of themselves pulling in different directions. They're playing this internal game of tug of war inside what it is that they want. And they probably feel like it has control and they don't have control, which is kind of peculiar because the shared energy affecting you both is the Emperor. Now, if this person is a controlling type of a person, that would probably be because there's some element of themselves that they don't have control over, and maybe they try to overcompensate for that by trying to control you or control external situations or control other people. This could also be that they have this toxic, unhealthy attachment to whoever this other person is, whether that's a wife or someone that they were with, previously to you, with this Six of Cups that's out here. And maybe that person is in control from their point of view. Doesn't really jive with this whole Seven of Swords overall energy of lying and cheating and stealing and deception and sneaking around kind of a thing. To me, that sounds like a defensive thing, almost like a cop-out of some kind. Then we get the High Priestess. This is she who knows, period. I've seen that Queen of Swords, she who knows the truth. She knows everything, the High Priestess does. She sits in front of the veil of consciousness. So she has access to all the information that we don't have access to. She clues us in through intuition. So she represents the unconscious mind, intuition, signs, synchronicities, a dream that has a message in it, just some form of internal knowing where I don't really have the facts at this stage. I just have this feeling that something ain't right here. I got this feeling that there's some toxic thing going on. Maybe I have this feeling that there's another person involved. And sure, what I see with my own eyes is them telling me, no, that's not right. That's not right. Still staring at me on the bottom of the deck is the Seven of Cups. Now, I just told you that I get this Queen of Swords, Seven of Wands combination quite a bit because this is the speaking the truth on something, and this is the person going, no, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. I didn't do that. I get this Seven of Cups High Priestess combination quite a bit too, where I have this intuitive hit that you're not telling me the whole story here, buddy. And this would be the other person knowing damn well that you don't have the facts to support this. It's just a hunch. It's just a feeling that you're having. And this could be them trying to cloud things up for you so you can't see the actual facts of the matter. Maybe trying to cloud your judgment, cloud your intuition, so maybe you don't believe the intuition. Maybe you start to doubt yourself because of it. I do have an internal conflict here. I also have this holding on to happiness here. Now, the problem with intuition is 9 times out of 10, it's going to tell us something that we don't want to hear. It's going to tell us something that we just don't want to be true. which leads us to put the blinders on, because of course I don't want to believe you're cheating on me. I want to believe that you love me. I want to believe that we've combined this life together and we have a healthy connection. I mean, there's history to it, there's happiness attached to it, and I don't want to let go of either of those things. But it's telling you something. It's telling you something. And the intuition is almost never wrong. Central for your person's energy, Scorpio, is the Eight of Pentacles, Virgo energy of work, putting in the work, time, effort, and energy on something to get what they want, or at the least being willing to put the work in on it. Now, this could be a person who still wants to work on this connection. They're still trying to keep their options open here with you. They could be like they're defensive about the connection with you, trying to fight for it, wanting to put the work in on it, not wanting to let go of the happiness and the history of it. Could also mean that they have, if maybe they're married to someone else and there's a toxic attachment there that convinces them that they should put the work in on that. So I'm going to clarify it and see what else I can find out. Why is this Eight of Pentacles here? Notice how it worked all the way through. Cards just shooting out all over the place. Getting extra cards all over the place. And I shuffled all the way through and got one. But I even had to go in and dig for that. It's like pulling teeth to get the info out of them here. About what they're working on. Or what they want to work on. Or whether they have the willingness to work on. And it just happened again, shuffled all the way through to get one card. This person is very defensive about something. What's underlying this card of work? Page of Cups, news, messages, communications about love and emotions, lovey-dovey messages, flirty behavior can represent an apology, can represent them expressing their feelings that they want to work on this. What's right behind it? The Lovers. They could be talking to you about how powerful this connection is. It's also, though, an indicator that their choices have affected you. And now, potentially, your choice to speak the truth and cut them off and kick them out and leave them behind, that could be affecting them pretty strongly. And now maybe they're wanting to apologize and put the work in on it. Yeah, I got Five of Cups right behind that. Scorpio energy. This is sadness and remorse and regrets about the past. It's emotional loss. The person on the card is dressed all in black. Their head is hung. They're in mourning, in grief. They're looking at these three spilled cups. The three cups represents togetherness, being combined together, like being together and happy. And all of that's been spilled. That represents the love that's been spilled and wasted, the time, effort, and energy that's been spilled and wasted. And there are two upright cups still in the background that they're not focused on. Now, what this is more feeling like is we had some other person involved. There are three cups here that are spilled. I've got the new cup right here in the first column. The choice between a connection, moving forward romantically, killed it, got it hung up because there's another person showing up. That could be what spilled it was the third party, and the two cups in the background could represent another connection looming in the background. This Lover's card can be a choice about your connection and to work on it, or even a choice between lovers. It could be that they were working on lovey-dovey, flirty behavior with someone else, and now they have regrets because what's right behind that Five of Cups is the Ace of Swords. That's the sword the Queen of Swords uses to cut something or someone out of her life. When I clarify this card of work, I get the Strength card, King of Cups, Queen of Cups. Strength is Leo energy. That was your central energy. This could be them going through a difficult situation now, and they want to put work in on it. It's also tied to this wife type energy. Now, take that however it applies to your situation. If you're the wife, if you're the stable, committed person that they lived with or were building a life with, that could mean they're going through a difficult situation wanting to work on that. If that's not the case and they have another person that they're married to, they're struggling with that and struggling with the idea of working on that. Either way, regardless of whether that Queen of Pentacles represents you or their other person, it's got the devil attached to it, which is some unhealthy attachment here, some unhealthy, toxic thing like that's messing with all of this, something that they're not in control of. You know, like when you hear that 666, the mark of the beast, and it represents like the devil. Well, this can be that person trying to tame the beast inside themselves, trying to rein this part of themselves in, trying to get control of this piece of them that they don't really have that much control over, and struggling with that. But next I get the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups. Now this is Scorpio energy, this is Cancer energy. These are the counterparts in terms of love and emotions. They work together as equals to build the 10 of Cups. I don't have the 10 of Cups anywhere out here. What I have instead is the Devil. This is a person who has a lot of emotions that they don't wear on their sleeve. They don't publicly broadcast how they feel. Around his feet is rough, choppy water. That represents rough, choppy emotions, emotional turmoil of some kind. But you can't tell by looking at his face. He's cool, calm, collected, completely straight-faced, no expression on it. Trying to contain emotions. Also, not really expressing that there's this toxic thing that they're not in control of right there. This could be a person that loves you and you wouldn't really know because they don't express it. They could be going through some really heavy stuff that they aren't in control of and not really expressing that either. Just kind of struggling with it. But next I have the Queen of Cups, which would be the person that they get love and emotions from. That would probably represent you. But notice how she's the only character that has a lid on top of her cup. And she does that as a way to protect her emotions from getting contaminated. She's been hurt emotionally before. She doesn't want to do that again, hence the lid on the cup. Now, what she really wants to do is take the lid off and pour her love into someone, but she's guarded. She's hesitant. It's sitting right here beside this Five of Wands, this internal conflict where, yeah, a piece of me wants to take the lid off and pour my love into this person. But another piece of me recognizes that something about this is way wrong, recognizes there's deception going on here. I've seen the truth at this point, so another piece of me is just ready to be done. I'm abandoning this whole thing. I'm ready to cut my losses and move on. Now, it could be because of that, now maybe this person wants to put the work in on it. I've got the Four of Pentacles here, Capricorn energy. This is out here also in the shared energy, so I have it on the table from both decks now, holding on tightly to something and not wanting to let go. The question for me is, what exactly is it that they don't want to let go of? Is it you? Is it the other person? Tell me more about this Four of Pentacles, please. Why is that the final card for Scorpio's person of interest at the end of October? There it is. Okay. Underline this Four of Pentacles energy. Seven of Swords. That is the overall energy. So here it is in both decks also. Aquarius energy. Lying, cheating, deception, sneaking around behind someone's back, trying to get away with something. So underlying this thing they don't want to let go of and they want to hold on for dear life is the deception and the lying and the cheating. And then the Seven of Cups, the options and the choices that I'm running around with here. Like, this person has more options than just you. This clouds of smoke is either them being confused and their judgment is clouded by this toxic thing that they aren't really in control of, even though they put up a pretty damn good front of being the one in control. I don't think so. I think there's a history here of whatever they're up to, and they're trying to hold on either to this thing from the past that keeps coming back up, like this wanting to run around between my options. I do have the Player on your side, which is also tied to the Wheel of Fortune, the repeating cycle of someone running back and forth between more than one person and being defensive about that. Man, oh man, oh man. I do not trust them, Scorpio. Yeah, behind this idea of options and choices is the Empress. This is the mother of the tarot deck. She's always pregnant. She's always giving birth to something. In a relationship reading, she represents the birth of something new, as in the birth of a new connection. And I'm trying to obscure that from you. I'm trying to stop you from seeing it, even though you can feel it. When I clarify the Four of Pentacles, I get the Knight of Swords, the Six of Swords, and the Ten of Cups. The Knight of Swords is the fastest moving knight in the deck. This is rushing forward and taking this really decisive action on something. This is usually a person who doesn't think things through all the way first. This is someone who just rushes off and takes the action without thinking about it, and they don't think about it until after they've already done it. I've got this idea of I'm trying to rein this piece of myself in and hold myself back, but like, really, do you think this little lady can hold a lion back forever? Like, she's got it calmed down for right now, but the moment this lion says, you know what, I think I'm going to go do whatever the hell I want to do, she's not going to be able to stop it. Doesn't matter if she's the wife or the person that they're combining lives together with or not. This person doesn't have control of themselves, so there's no possible way you or whoever that Queen of Pentacles represents can contain them either. This is a really like spontaneous, spur of the moment, impulsive, sometimes reckless decision maker here. Next I have the Six of Swords, Aquarius energy. It's about moving forward into calmer waters. It's about leaving these rough, choppy waters of the past behind, moving away from that, and moving forward into the future. There's some implications in this card. First, it's the Six of Swords, which implies the Five of Swords has already happened. The Five of Swords is a betrayal. It's a big fight. At its core, it's like a mentally and psychologically painful situation or event. The painful thing has already happened at the stage of the Six of Swords, and this is about moving away from the painful thing and moving forward. The other implied thing is the implied choice that a person has when they're doing the Six of Swords, this idea of moving forward. That since the painful thing has already happened, they have to choose, do I carry the burden that the painful thing caused me into my future with me so it continues to weigh me down and hold me back? Or do I carry forward the lesson I learned from that painful thing so that something like that doesn't happen again? When it's tied to this Knight of Swords, like impulsive, don't really think it through before I do it kind of an energy, I really doubt that they're carrying the lesson forward as much as they're carrying the burden forward. In fact, in that same row with it is the Devil. It looks like they're pretty good at, with this King of Cups, of probably masking their true emotions here. Final card, the thing that it looks like they want to hold on to and move forward toward, is the Ten of Cups. This is Pisces energy. This is that happily ever after card, that happy fairy tale romance, happy fairy tale ending that we all want really, really bad. I see absolutely zero indicators that this person actually has it other than King and Queen of Cups. But the problem is the King of Cups is tied directly to the Devil, some distorted version of that. So whenever this person builds what would be that happy love connection where it's equal and they're pouring into you every bit as much as you're pouring into them, there's some distorted element to that. There's some part of themselves that they're struggling against here, and they have some sort of an internal conflict as it relates to you and this toxic attachment they have to whoever this other person represents. There's an internal conflict there. And this person wanting to hold on to this sneaky, deceptive, lying, cheating type behavior, this impulsive recklessness, this, again, Seven of Swords is out here in both decks, pretending to be the one that's in control here, holding on to happiness. But again, what is happiness to this person? What happiness appears to be is being able to hold on to going and doing whatever I want without even having to think about it. Being able to go sneak around and have all these other options and birth a new connection whenever I want to me, that doesn't sound anything like the real Ten of Cups. And then, honestly, most of the time, when I get the Ten of Cups in one of these kind of readings, it's not talking to me about happily ever after. It's talking to me about this person's like idealized point of view here, like looking at the situation for how they want it to be instead of how it actually is. They're like, if they really had the 10 of cups, they wouldn't be leaving something painful behind. There would be no reckless decision making. There would be no toxicity. There would be no devil energy here. There would be no internal conflict in the same row with that 10 of cups. And there damn sure wouldn't be the 7 of swords out here twice. There would be no 7 of cups confusion behind it or birthing some new connection back here. There'd be no repeating cycle of the player out here. There would be no death and no hanged man. Like, something about this doesn't add up when I look at their energy. And it looks to me like you felt that. You eventually saw the truth. And you're probably the one that had to make the ultimate decision here to pass judgment on this thing and call it dead and over.